Let me be very clear. Those who seek to blame others are themselves the problem, and we will have zero patience or tolerance of that. This is also a moment to apologise once again to all those who were hurt, to all those who were let down, who no longer felt it was their home, who suffered the most appalling abuse. And I understand that some people won't like the changes that we've made. But I say this with all candour. If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
What will it take for the country to finally rise up and declare that enough really is enough, that this state of affairs cannot continue? In the UK, it feels as though we've reached a decisive moment where public tolerance has run out. More than 3 million people, driven by anger and deep frustration, have now signed a petition demanding a general election. Keir Starmer's leadership is increasingly seen as a clear failure, and the public can no longer afford to remain silent.
Hello, have you signed the petition?
Not yet, no, because you know me, I'm not very technical at stuff like that. I was going to start differently, but it's your show, you do what you want.
Well, let me just reassure you that it's actually really easy, because I don't normally do these things either, but I thought this thing is getting ahead of steam, and I think we've all got to...
At the forefront of this hard-hitting movement was journalist Isabel Oakeshott, who held nothing back in condemning Starmer's careless indifference. She spoke with blunt honesty, suggesting that even Nigel Farage, controversial as he may be, now seems more capable of leading. Isabel left no room for doubt about where she stood, aligning herself firmly with those calling for change. Her words have since turned into a rallying cry for everyone worn down by stagnation and years of failed leadership.
I am absolutely with you and the millions of people who think this bloke is a disgrace. He has no plan, he has no conviction, he has no backbone. I don't buy this government at all. It makes me furious with the shambles that was the Tory party. But we cannot fall for the BS that the King is going to get involved. This is not going to change the government. Yes, it will absolutely, Isabel, say to this government, globally and at home, not very popular. It's not going to make any difference, though, is it? Come on.
She stands shoulder to shoulder with frustrated people across Britain, supporting their urgent demand for a leader who won't merely talk about change, but will actually deliver it and restore broken trust. In her view, Starmer is avoiding responsibility, allowing the country to slide further into chaos and uncertainty. Her words strike a chord with millions, reflecting the growing anger of citizens tired of leadership that feels detached from everyday life. Isabel has emerged as a voice for them, fearlessly speaking uncomfortable truths, even when they rattle Westminster. The petition calling for a general election has become a powerful symbol of public fury among those refusing to accept the status quo. It is rare to see millions unite behind a single cause, especially in a country as politically divided as the United Kingdom.
I mean, just ridiculous. I mean, Nigel Farage is one of the most popular politicians in the country. That's why millions of people voted for him and his party at the last election. It's not their fault that the voting system doesn't reflect that in terms of the number of MPs. Nigel Farage is always going to be a much more exciting, interesting, dynamic, charismatic, bright, engaging and yes, divisive figure than Keir Starmer. I mean, I know who I'd choose to have dinner with.
Let us take a closer look at what is unfolding in the UK and lay bare the real chaos emerging beneath the surface. Isabel Oakeshott does more than simply question Starmer's leadership. She dismantles it piece by piece with sharp, uncompromising criticism. She holds nothing back, labelling him ineffective and accusing him of driving the country towards serious decline. In her view, the Starmer government is built on empty slogans rather than real action and has shown itself unable to confront the nation's most urgent problems. Isabel repeatedly stresses that Britain needs authentic leadership, not hollow promises, and her fury reflects the feelings of millions who are desperate for genuine change.
I'm not, Trump, there are many things about Trump I don't like, but he managed to grab that feeling, and that's what a lot of people are crying out for in this country, aren't they?
And it's absolutely there for the taking for a dynamic politician that is not really dislikable, and that's quite difficult, actually. I mean, almost any dynamic politician, any strident politician, any bold leader is actually also dislikable.
Of course, because they spend all the time trying to be all things to all people. The people like Thatcher and Blair didn't care. They had a plan, they had something set out, and they were going for it, whatever the response. Isn't that true leadership?
Many people believe their voices have been ignored for far too long, and they are now determined to take back control of their own future. This petition is more than a protest against Starmer. It is a clear demand to reclaim authority over their lives. It showcases the real strength of unity, proving that when enough people stand up for their rights, they cannot simply be brushed aside. The key question now is how the leader will respond to 3 million citizens calling for his resignation. So far, his reaction has been widely seen as arrogant and dismissive, only fueling anger across Britain. Instead of treating the issue with seriousness, Starmer has waved it away as minor and unimportant. This attitude has not only hardened opposition against him, but has also deeply disillusioned many who once believed in his leadership.
It is, and I think people are just desperate for it in our country. We haven't had those options on the table, have we, in recent elections? Of course, we don't have a presidential system, so people are not voting for a prime minister when they go into the polling booth. They're voting for their local MP. But it just doesn't feel like... I suppose with Boris, there was some excitement around him, if we're casting back a few years now. But it just doesn't feel as if there's been someone that everybody, or that a large number of people could rally around and that is selling some hope for our country, because everything's just so negative, isn't it? And, you know, I don't want to be negative all the time. I don't want to be constantly complaining about the direction our amazing country is going.
The government can no longer afford to ignore what is unfolding. Isabel is certain that this petition has finally forced Starmer to pay attention. He now has to face the reality that millions see his leadership as weak and ineffective. It points to a troubling truth. Public patience is running out, and people are demanding real, tangible change. While the petition alone may not trigger an immediate election, it has unquestionably ignited serious debate at a critical moment. Across the country, citizens are openly questioning the government's legitimacy, turning this into a powerful moment of mobilisation. Isabel insists this represents a turning point. Clear proof that the UK has made its dissatisfaction with Starmer's failures unmistakably clear. His refusal to confront the issue directly has only deepened the growing gap between the public and those in power. A divide that is becoming harder to close. When it comes to his response, Isabel did not hide her anger. She accused him of arrogance and of showing open contempt for those who trusted him with their vote. In her view, mocking the petition is not just careless, it is a direct insult to the millions who signed it in genuine hope of change. Her words strike a deep chord with many who now feel not only disappointed, but completely betrayed.
I understand people signing it. I understand the frustration. I'm more interested in saying the 44% of you that did not get your asses out to vote in the last general election are part of the reason we're in this mess. So for God's sake, join, as somebody said earlier, join a party or vote next time. I'm not against the petition, but vote, right? That's important.
Absolutely it is. I mean, if you didn't vote, you can't complain. No. And I suppose a lot of people will say, well, there was no point in voting in my constituency because, you know, this, that, the other. But you still got to try and make your voice heard in some way. And actually, where there have been millions of votes that didn't lead to parliamentary seats, that just opens another debate about the voting system. And you and I might disagree on that. And
by shutting out the very people he is supposed to represent, Starmer has shown a striking indifference to the anger spreading across the country. His response has only intensified the crisis, reinforcing why so many now believe he is unfit to lead the nation. With nearly 47 million eligible voters in the UK, more than 3 million have already signed the petition. This should have been a moment for Starmer to stop and reflect seriously. Instead, his dismissive attitude has fueled the view that he does not consider the issue important, reducing the struggles of millions to little more than a minor inconvenience. Isabel argues that even if the petition does not directly trigger an election, it stands as undeniable proof that meaningful change can no longer be ignored.
It's just wrong, and I think if we had a referendum on it again now, I think that there would be a very significant majority for proportional representation, without a doubt. And people will have forgotten there was a referendum on this way back, I think it was 2011, very, very badly run by the proportional representation side of the argument. That would be totally different now.
I had an argument with somebody about this over the weekend, actually, and the problem with that is, and you know me, I'm all for it, and I want reform to be successful. Very difficult for us to kick back the whole time about not wanting another Brexit referendum when we're saying we'd like another one on proportional representation. But the truth of the matter is, however it works, you want the people's voice to be heard. But the truth of the matter is, more than anything, get out and vote. Isabel, my thing about the Labour Party is I think they have no plan. However, today, did you watch Liz Kendall, the Work and Pension Secretary, being interviewed by Trevor Phillips at the weekend on Sky?
Isabel's criticism breaks the silence and demands a level of accountability that UK politics has lacked for far too long. Her passionate delivery has established her as a voice for those who feel ignored and abandoned. She even puts forward Nigel Farage as a stronger candidate for Prime Minister. While this view is clearly controversial, she firmly believes Farage has the resilience Britain needs in these difficult times. He is decisive, unapologetic, and above all, willing to listen to the public and act on their concerns. Whether people support him or strongly oppose him, Isabel argues that he is at least prepared to take firm decisions and push real change. Britain, she says, urgently needs bold and forward-looking leadership to guide the country out of uncertainty. The public requires someone able to face serious challenges, unite people, and make tough calls. By contrast, she presents Starmer as a symbol of stagnation and inaction. What are your thoughts on this video? Share your opinion in the comments, and I'll see you next time.